Hello, it may be a bit late, but I still want to get a spooky themed video out this year. Today, we'll be going over a Pokemon Creepypasta, Disabled. For me, what I determine as a good creepypasta is how believable the possible idea the author is proposing to be in the game of discussion, how much it leans into classic tropes of creepypasta, the good old hyper-realism, bleeding from the eyes, evil spirits in the machine, etc. And, if it does lean into those tropes, how well does it blend them into the story? And for a warning, this story will have mentions of blood and loud noises, so please keep that in mind as the video continues. So, let's begin our read-along with Disabled. When it comes to Pokemon, my favorites have to be Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff. When I was a little girl, I dreamed of having a puffy Jigglypuff. I even used to have a bunch of Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff plushies, and each night, I would cuddle with a different one, just to make sure each got some love. Anytime Jigglypuff or Wigglytuff would sing, I would hum a little tune with them, thinking it made my chances better for the opposing Pokemon to fall asleep. I was very naive back then, but it was a blissful innocence, to be honest. Hell, I even played Jigglypuff in the Brawl games. I didn't care if anyone else didn't like her, I did. So, when I got my hands on a Pokemon Soul Silver when it first came out, I, of course, made it my mini mission to find a Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff. I went through the game, waiting for Puffs and Tuffs to show up. I encountered the occasional trainer of a Puff or a Tuff, but I soon found out that Jigglypuff could only be caught in one set area, which I later found out to be the game's Safari Zone. At that point, Safari Zone was not active for me, so I was stuck waiting a little while longer to capture my beloved Puff. After a week or so of battling and schoolwork, Safari Zone was finally available. I went there once I had the chance to go, and went to hunt for Jigglypuff, and of course, it was not easy. I ran into maybe 8 on the first trip and lost all 8 of them. I remember calling my DS Lite a cheater. Next day though, I finally caught my first Jigglypuff. I happily named her June and put her in my party ASAP. It took some time to get her up to the level of the rest of my team, but well worth it for me. I even kept her sing, since I felt so nostalgic to hear that lovely tune again. Sadly, school got busy for me for a while, so I was forced to put my game on hold. But once I got my free time back, I went right back to work, making sure all my Pokemon loved me, especially my June. But I still didn't have my Wigglytuff. I didn't want to lose June, so I thought about getting an already evolved Wigglytuff, since Safari Zone has already proven its dislike of me. So I set a call out on the wireless trade, asking for a Wigglytuff. Any gender, any level. I wasn't picky at the time, but now I wish I had been picky. In exchange for a new Wigglytuff, I put out a wonderfully bred Totodile that had some killer moves, even for a level 6. I waited for hours, thinking someone would see the quality right away and send a trade. I waited days. Maybe someone would just happen to want a Totodile to raise. Nearly 2 weeks have passed, and I still had no response. I had already given up my hope and was ready to use a Moonstone on June. I ended up checking one last time to make sure, but it didn't send me to the main menu for the wireless trade. Instead, I got the dramatic evolving music, and a Pokeball came flying from the top of my screen to the bottom. Finally, I got my Wigglytuff. I quickly logged out to see my new friend, a female Wigglytuff. Level 26. The name was a bit odd though, Disabled, in all caps. I didn't get why someone would name a Wigglytuff that, but I had seen stranger names for Pokemon. I just wish I could have changed it, but for some reason, you could never change the name of a traded Pokemon. Its information was a bit odd, but I was never one for those kinds of details or learning the meanings behind those details. Gloomy nature, and its only move was Sing. I didn't recall ever seeing Gloomy before, but I had seen Timid, so I figured if they could be shy, they could be sad too. Though, you would have had to wonder, what kind of Pokemon would be Gloomy? And the fact that it only knew Sing did bug me. It would have been nice if its previous trainer left it some more moves, but I had some nice TMs to try on it anyway. Despite the off information, I was eager to try out Wigglytuff in battle. I checked my character's bag and picked the best TM I was almost sure would work. I ended up picking Hidden Power, Swagger, and Explosion. I headed over to the nearest patch of grass and walked around aimlessly, looking for a fight. The battle music came on, and the Pokemon was a Ponyta. I picked Fight and used Sing, just to make sure Wigglytuff's first battle was an easy one. It failed. Well, I knew Sing didn't always work, so I didn't think anything of it. Ponyta used Tail Whip. It was cute, but only lowered my defense. My turn again, so I used Hidden Power, just to see if I was in the right place for it. I wasn't, since I barely made a nick in the Ponyta's HP. After another Tail Whip from Ponyta, I retaliated with using Sing again. The screen acted like it had used the move, but there was no sound. Sing was disabled. I just stared at my screen. How was its Sing unusable? Was it a stupid trick? I let Ponyta use Tail Whip again, but then Wigglytuff shook a bit, like it was suffering from an effect. I thought I saw the sprite change, but then I realized that was probably a glitchy Pokemon. Angry that I lost a good Pokemon for a hacked one, I didn't want this one messing with my game, so I picked Run. Disabled. Wants to fight. You cannot leave the battle. Oh, come on, I remember saying out loud. I kept thinking that it was probably about to ruin my game. I thought Ponyta was about to attack this turn, but it didn't. Its little sprite shook like it was poisoned. Ponyta was frozen in fear. It might not attack. I knew this was getting too weird. I tried to pick a Run again, but another weird text box came up. Disabled wants to fight. You cannot leave this battle. I didn't even see that the weird text was different this time. I was able to pick another option. I couldn't run, so I fought. I tried Hidden Power again. Hidden Power was disabled. I had to pick another one. I tried Swagger? Swagger was disabled. What was doing this to the moves? All these questions popped up in my head, one after another. What did that guy who gave me this Wigglytuff do? I have to escape. I can't keep this Pokemon. I knew I could just turn the game off, but I wanted to see what was happening. I wanted to see what was wrong with my Wigglytuff. I was stuck with only two options, Sing and Explosion. Sing was already disabled from the past attempts, so I could only use Explosion. That move would take out the Wigglytuff and the Ponyta, ending the battle. I thought that maybe it was a good thing. Explosion was disabled. I didn't even have a chance to react before more text came up. Disabled is trying to use Sing. Sing was disabled. It was doing it on its own? The sprite started shaking a bit more than before. Ponyta is frozen in fear. It can no longer escape from the battle. I felt my heart start to pound. Maybe this was what Ponyta was feeling at the time. Disabled is trying to use Sing. Sing was disabled. Disabled is trying to use Sing. Sing was disabled. Disabled is trying to use Sing. Sing was disabled. Disabled is trying to use Sing. Sing was disabled. Disabled is trying to use Sing. Sing was disabled. Disabled is trying to use Sing. Sing was disabled. Disabled is trying to use Sing. Sing was disabled. Each time that text passed, Wigglytuff's sprite turned darker and darker. Disabled used Struggle. I watched in horror as the Wigglytuff used Struggle, like it had no other move to use. Most of this time, it didn't even hit Ponyta, just Wigglytuff, like it was hurting itself. Ponyta finally fled from the battle, and the sequence ended. I wished I could have gone with it. Since Wigglytuff was first in my party, it was walking along with me on screen. Its colors looked dirty, and red could be seen on it. I turned to my character to talk to it. It didn't say anything to me. I tried again, becoming strangely desperate to figure out what was happening to the Wigglytuff. I was so joyed to finally have.
I just wanted to sing.
I wasn't sure who was talking. Maybe it was a voiceover? I thought. I talked again.
Why can't I sing? Just sing. Sing.
Each time I spoke to it, its cry grew softer and softer, like it was a toy breaking. I began to feel bad for Wigglytuff, and headed back to the city to heal it. It was the least I could do before I turned my game off, taking it back to the time when I just barely got it before I used it. Sadly, we didn't get far. We encountered another Pokemon battle. Another Ponyta. I picked Run, but just like the last time, Disabled wants to fight. You cannot escape the battle. No one had time to react. What happened during this fight? Ponyta was too slow for some reason, and it was stuck in battle. The options menu did not come up for me. Disabled tried to use Sing. Sing, 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 sing. There was so much text it moved out of the box itself. It was finally glitching out, I thought. Disabled, you struggle. It struggled. 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 With each struggle, Wigglytuff took more and more damage. Though this time, the Wild Ponyta got hit more this time too. The Wild Ponyta fled. I thought the fight was over, but the battle screen stayed up. I began mashing the buttons, thinking maybe it was going to talk again, and I needed to press A or B. The screen faded and changed to the evolving screen. I couldn't speak. My heart sank and I felt my eyes water. The once normal Wigglytuff sprite was faded. Its left ear was torn off. The red pixel covered the broken end. Its tired eyes were pitch black, and the only red dot to show was pupils. Even its mouth had a red coming from it, like blood was dripping out.
Why can't I sing? Why? Can you sing?
Yes or no? I picked no. I just wanted this to end.
You're lying. You can't sing. Give me your sing.
Yes or no? I hit no, about 4 more times.
Sing, sing, sing.
The speakers let out a high-pitched screech, making my DS drop to get away from it. I ran out of my room and called a friend. I couldn't touch the game after that. My friend came over, seeing as I could not hide the panic I was feeling. She laughed at me, but I told her I wasn't touching that game. She picked it up and looked at it, shaking her head, and turned it off and closed it. She handed it back to me.
I think you broke it.
She told me, leaving my room and heading for the living room. She stayed with me the rest of the day and night. I couldn't get that image out of my head. The next morning, with my friend sitting next to me, I put the Wigglytuff up for trade. I found someone that was offering a Cyndaquil in exchange for my Wigglytuff. I hit the button as hard as I could, wanting to hurry up. The trade went through. I still have that Cyndaquil. Whoever had him named him Hurry. I feel this story is a good reference on how to write a good video game creepypasta. The girl doesn't go crazy, doesn't get killed, or affected whatsoever by the story, physically, besides a slight scare. Though, I did enjoy the campy bleeding from the eyes, and how Disabled got deformed near the end of the story. However, I feel if you remove that one bit with the sprite changing, the story would have been a lot more believable. Though, I definitely feel this story should be with some of the greats. Maybe not on the same pedestal as like Lavender Town Syndrome, Lost Silver, Hypno's Lullaby, Buried Alive, but at least one tier below them. Maybe right next to Hole Again. And the small reference to Lost Silver was very fun. Now for comment spotlight. We love Jar Jar. I still have the Ken doll of him. He was my favorite one. And the only one I would allow to date my favorite Barbie. The bruh moment though.
Hold up, wait a minute.
And also a quick shout out to Hau Judai Yubel. Thank you for your very thorough answer for the question I asked in the last video. I really appreciated it. And lastly, one note for the current Pokemon Moon playthrough I'm doing. This is my current team. This is my Pokedex. This is my current playtime. I have just defeated Kialway's trial and about to do Mallow. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later in the next one. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I might feature you in a future video.